Hello, and welcome to today's video. Today I wanted to talk about something I saw. I literally just saw this and it kind of resonated with me, and I kind of wanted to bring it up. I was watching this old man, probably you've seen an old man like this, where he's like, I mean, no offense to him, like I'll say he seemed like a really good guy, he seemed really interesting, he seemed like he traveled a lot, he seemed like he meant well, so I don't want you guys to feel like I'm trying to be the critical one. But I noticed how critical he was of everybody else, where he's all like, oh, that's their problem, this is that problem, that's that problem. And I noticed a lot of us do this. It's so easy to do this. The mind wants to project our problems onto other things. I'll say that again. The mind wants to like project your problems on something. It's like it wants to look for the problem outside of you, not for the problem inside of you. And how like I would like to really take this video too, because I noticed in a lot of my videos I probably sound like I'm being really critical of people. I know I've probably offended some people, maybe I upset people a little bit at times. The road down bipolar, he tells me that I just tell people how it is, as it is. I'm not trying to like, honestly, I'm not trying to beat around the truth. I'm trying to just tell you the straight up truth. And it does come off like I'm being really critical and really judgmental, but like I honestly feel like the reason I could do that and what makes me different from him, as critical as this may sound, is because I'm not being extra critical. See, I think a difference is, if you're gonna be hard on somebody, you have to be just as hard as yourself. I'm not trying to be a hypocrite about this, because if I'm being a hypocrite about this, then I can't do this. Then I'm just a crazy old man who just like, oh, this is your problem, this is your problem, this is your problem, I'm perfect, why can't you be like me? But I'm not like that. That's not me at all. I don't think anybody really knows this about me or really understands this about me, but people look at me all the time and they're like, what makes you qualified to tell me what to do? What gives you the right? How do you know? Are you a psychologist? Huh? Are you a therapist? Did you go to college? And I'm like, no. I want to be Tony Robbins. I don't want to go to college, but besides the point. The reason I feel like I'm honestly just qualified to do these videos, to talk about these things, is because I'm talking about my own experiences at the same time. I'm not here to make people where I'm like, let me just get into what I was actually gonna say, because I was starting off by saying I don't think anybody really knows this about me, but every single day I'm challenging myself, I'm questioning myself, I'm asking myself if I did the best I can do. I'm upset at myself when I didn't do the best I could do. What I'm trying to like really explain is like people look at me and they're like, you're just, what, you think you're some god? As like, like you think you're just some perfect being and you get to just walk around criticizing everybody and judging everybody. And not that it's right to criticize people or that it's right to judge people. I'm not saying you should at all. I'm just saying, at least the reason I feel like I'm comfortable with making these videos and that I'm like justified and validated in being able to make these videos is because I'm doing it to myself. A lot of the things I'm talking about, I'm not like, this is your problem, ha ha ha, look at this problem you have, ha, go fix it. I'm like, no, I had the same exact problem. I did this same exact thing. This is how I fixed it. This is what I did about that problem when I was facing it. I'm not here to judge people, and I don't need to be no qualified psychologist. I'm not here to logically understand your problems and tell you about them logically. I'm here to tell you real practical solutions, techniques, and methods that have helped me overcome those problems. Every single day I suffer. I go crazy. Like, I'm not like, look at me, I'm perfect, just be like me, guys. No, I'm not like that at all. People don't really, I don't think anyone really gets like the depth of this, which it really goes into me, where every single day I'm the hardest on myself. I'm challenging myself the most. I'm like, what can I focus on today? What can I do today? What am I gonna grow on today? It's like one day I'm like, maybe I gotta, one day I'm like, maybe I gotta speak up louder, try to accentuate, try to get people to notice me. And then the next day I'm like, okay, I'm too loud, let me take it back. One day I'm like, I'm too nice, Yeah, I could be like, one day I could be like, oh, I'm being too nice. Let me pull that back so I'm balanced and I don't get taken advantage of. And then the next day I'm like, okay, I'm being too mean. Like, just dial that in. I'm keeping adjusting myself. You know, I have days where I have like lots of anxiety and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to distract myself today. I'm going to sit here, you know, I'm going to go through traffic. I'm not going to listen to anything. I'm not going to pull out my phone. I'm not going to do anything to distract me from that anxiety. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to go through it and I'm going to solve this problem. I'm going to figure my way out, not using my head, but in my body and my spirit, because my mind just wants to suck me into more anxiety. But yeah, that's kind of the idea. That's how I've gotten to where I am, where I'm really at a point now where it's like every single day of my life, I'm like, what's my focus point for today? What's my sticking point for today? What am I going to grow on today? What am I going to figure out? And lots of times it's just whatever is a problem for me is like, okay, how am I going to figure out this problem? The real point is like, I'm only where I am. Like, I get a lot of people who look at me and they're like, maybe not even that much. I get those few people, and y'all guys really stand out. Y'all really get to me. But it's like, my girlfriend does it to me too. She's like, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know anything. You don't know my problems. You don't understand me. You know, I've had friends like, what? You perfect? You perfect? Huh? You perfect? And I'm like, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm just trying to tell you, I've been there. I've done that. I might still be there. I might still be doing that, but at least I've grown and it's not as much of a problem as it used to be. And I'm as hard as I may be, as critical as I may be on anybody, I'm the worst on myself. That sounds crazy. It's like, what am I abusing myself mentally? But sometimes almost yes. Sometimes I'll sit there, if I'm suffering too much, if I'm going too crazy, if I'm in too much depression, I'm in too much anxiety, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here until it's gone. I'm gonna sit here until I deal with it. I'm gonna sit here until I figure it out. I'm gonna push through. I'm gonna persevere. I'm gonna struggle. I'm gonna just push against so much resistance. I'm gonna overcome this problem. And it's like every single day I'm doing this. Like you might see me, like I might be, I don't know, if you actually saw me in the street, you actually saw me in person, I may be, oh, he's just standing there chilling. Oh, he's just in a good mood for no reason. What a jerk. But in my mind, in my world, I could be going crazy. And I'm like, center myself, calm myself down, stop thinking so much. Oh, that's a thought. Now I'm free. Like that. Now I'm in a different state of being. Just thinking about it is putting me back in that old state of being. But you may just feel that subtle difference, that subtle change right now in my tone of voice. That's not fake. That's not I changed my tone of voice. That's I changed my state of mind. I was having a lot of fog going on in here and I cleared it out. That's what I do. How did I do it so easily? Like I did it on the spot? Practice. Years of practice, work, time, effort, suffering, struggling, crying, sitting in a ball, literally laying down in a ball on the floor, letting all my thoughts run wild so that I could process them, so that they can get out of my mind. I feel like some of the most relieving experiences for me were not when I had like actual just like no thoughts, nothing going on. Some of the most relieving experiences when I just like full on let my brain just explode with thoughts. But it's like, it's weird. It's like a weird trance state where it's like I'm not letting the thoughts take me anywhere, where I'm just like literally like, okay, brain, have every single thought you want to have right now. Every single one. I'm just gonna lay here in a ball of depression and you're just gonna have every single thought you want to have, but I'm not gonna let it take me. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I have this one thought. What else can I think about it? No, it's just like I have that one thought, then this next thought, then this next thought, then this next thought, and like 3 hours later, maybe about 4 hours later, then my brain starts to calm down, and then it gets all that information processed. Then I can settle down. And then the other thing is too, trying to break through to the other side like I just did, where you're just completely free of thoughts, where you're not doing any thoughts at all. Bringing that to your normal state of mind. I'm bringing up these two methods because honestly, I think if you solve anxiety, you can solve most of your problems. You can manage your emotional, mental, and spiritual health. Honestly, you can change your life. You can do amazing things, but it's really been a lot of struggles. And then dealing with trauma too, like I explain how to deal with trauma. I have like 2 videos on the subject at least. One of them was how to deal with trauma. Another one was why you can't stop thinking. Basically about the same thing, where you kind of go back to that trauma you kind of go back to that trauma. You like almost like you replay it in your mind. You let your brain take you there, but then you kind of zero out the thoughts. So it's really good if you at least understand how to let go of thoughts. It's really good to actually be able to let go of trauma, because it's not really though to let go of the thoughts, but it's going to get you to where I'm trying to take you. Whereas like you have the thoughts, you replay the scenario, you let it take you to that place of suffering, of sorrow, of misery, of suffering, of whatever it is. You bring up those feelings. And then a way I like to think about it is to not focus on your head anymore. Watch where your focus is. Watch what you're feeling. Because I notice when I'm really anxiety, I feel like all this craziness is going on in here. And I'm like trying to zero in on that so I could focus on the craziness to let it go. But it's like, if I try to pull back and I focus on how my chest is feeling. Like if something like, I know you have a situation that makes you sad, something bothers you, something annoys you, something upsets you, whatever that person did to you at that one time, at that one place, at that one thing, and you go back there, how that person abused you, but you see how it makes you feel in here, in your chest, in your stomach, but really in here, how it feels in your heart, and you zero in on that, and it's like you hold that feeling. As much pain, as much sorrow, as much misery, as much tears will come out. It's like you let go of the thoughts. You let the thoughts take you to that place, and then you let go of the thoughts, and you, by zeroing in on the feeling, and you focus on it. And then the more you do that, you kind of actually, then you start to let go of that feeling. You let go of the emotion. You let go of the suffering that was attached to those thoughts. So then when you have those thoughts come back up, they won't have as much power over you anymore. They won't rule over your lives anymore. Then you can actually go live your own life in your own terms. Now I've done this to like extreme points where I've had like weeks where every single night I do this to the same like incident of trauma, and I'm like, I do it again, and then I do it again, and then I do it again. It sounds like suffering. It feels like suffering when you're doing it. It feels like you're abusing yourself. It's hard. It's painful to change your life, to change who you are, to change, to become the person you want to be. It means you have to let the old version of you die. It's a lot of pain, it's a lot of struggle to grow, but there's a point in it, there's lessons in it, there's things to learn. And it's good for me now. It's like, think about it, it's like working out. I tell people, I used to say like working out is like, it sucks when you're doing it. It sucks the 3 days after, but the rest of your life, you're gonna feel better from that workout. You're gonna be a little bit more stronger, a little bit more fit, a little bit more healthier. And it's kind of like that when you're dealing with trauma. You have to, in the moment, deal with it. You have to deal with the emotion that it's causing. You have to deal with the way it makes you feel. Zero in on it. Really, just zero in on that emotion. Let go of the thoughts. Just focus on how it feels in your chest and here. And try to let go of that. Try to let go of that. And you're gonna have to do it over and over again, especially if something's really bothering you, really traumatic, something causes you lots of anxiety and stress. Like even if it's just anxiety over something random, even if it's not really traumatic, but if you focus on it, you'll probably find a feeling in here. Lots of times it's fear, like you're afraid of what's gonna happen. It could be other feelings too. It could be a whole range of emotions, but that's one of the really, like, if you, a lot of times if you take that emotion you think you're feeling, you pull it back and you pull it back and you pull it back and you pull it back, you get to like fear, or maybe you want to feel like, maybe you think it's grief, whatever it is you're feeling. So yeah, I've done this literally with like trauma of mine where I've just played it over and over again. I'm literally suffering, I'm literally going crazy, like ready to cry, ready to freak out, just want to get up, run around and scream, take a baseball bat, hit a wall. But it's like, no, I stay there with it. And I've had these moments where it's like, at first it's not as effective, but the more you do it, then like eventually you could even get to this point where it just feels like it explodes out of you. And then see, the beauty of it is then the rest of my life is different, because now I could go back to that scenario. I might not even have to go back to it. I may not even come up anymore, but at least if I do, I can just think about it like a regular thought and move on with my life and let it go. I don't have to think about that thought now, and then my life turns into a downward spiral of anxiety and depression. It's like, no, now I can move on. Now, I know what I was trying to say was good about it is that now I could just live my life. Now I walk around and I'm so much more happier, so much more calm, so much more carefree, so much more worry-free, because I dealt with that. Because I have to deal with it. Whatever you're going through, whatever your problems are, whatever your struggles are, it's your struggles, it's your problems. You have to go through it, you have to face it one way or another. And you can't not face it. You could always run away from what you're afraid of. You could always run away from your own problems. You literally can, but you won't grow. You won't become the person you want to be. You won't get the success that you want to get. Because even if you get that success, despite of not growing as a person to become the person who deserves that success, and usually more of the person who deserves that success is the person who can actually enjoy it. When he has it, actually finds that peace of mind and happiness he truly was looking for. Because how many people get all the money in the world and then they still aren't happy? Life doesn't want that for you. Life wants you to grow as a person and to become the person who deserves that, who earned it, who worked hard for it, who can appreciate it, who can show gratitude to it. Because it's really hard. It's really basically impossible to be angry, to be sad, feel the grief, guilt-ridden when you're in a mode of state of gratitude, when you're just really thankful for everything, when you're really appreciative of what you have. It makes it a lot harder for those negative emotions to take over. But my video is going sideways now. I don't want it to sound too much like it's rambling. I had a part earlier where it was like, did one of those, try to recenter myself. But I do want to just I'll try to summarize this video. Like, I'm only here, I'm only talking because I've done this, I've been through it. I'm telling you about my stories, my struggles, what I've gone through, and I'm the hardest on myself. I'm pushing myself every day, and that's how I got to where I want to be. If you want to get to level 1,000, forget level 1 out of 100. It stops at 100 for regular people. If you want to get to level 1,000, that's daily work, that's daily struggles, that's pushing it so that every single day you get just that little bit better, then you get that little bit better. Every day, it's like I said, nobody knows this about me, nobody sees this because you can't see it because it's happening inside of me. I was over here at work and I'm over here while everyone's just talking normally. I'm still talking part of the conversation, but I'm stretching my hips out. And my hips are like cracking, they're snapping, they're popping. I feel my hips coming out of place, then going back into place, then going back out of place, then going back in place while everyone's having regular conversation. Same thing, like people could be having regular conversation. I could be in the conversation, but I could also be meditating at the same time. I could be trying to let go of my thoughts, trying to calm down, trying to focus in on what they're saying, trying to let go of what I'm trying to say, try to give a direct response to it. It's like all this is going on in the background. I was like, you know, it sounds like I'm being really hard on myself, and I am really hard on myself, but it comes with the understanding too that eventually you do these things on autopilots. We all have habits. So sometimes, you know, getting to that success level, getting to that next level comes with accepting the fact that you have habits anyway. Life is gonna give you habits. Life is gonna choose you habits. So you might as well pick your habits. And at first you gotta force them a little bit. Like you kind of push into that new habit. And then maybe if you do it after for a month, 2 months, 3 months, then it becomes more autopilot mode. Then you could do it without thinking about it. So it's like, even like you wanna be happy, like you gotta walk around for a few months with a smile on your face. But that could be just because your body's not used to you smiling. It's not used to you laughing. It's not used to you being happy. It's weird. It doesn't understand it. And you might feel weird. You might feel uncomfortable if you try to smile. If you go out in public in a store, are you gonna walk through the whole store with a big smile on your face? Or is that actually gonna make you embarrassed and uncomfortable? These are things to think about. These are things to contemplate. Challenge yourself every day, as I do. Or don't. Just stay where you are. But stagnation doesn't appeal to me. The only thing that appeals to me is like moving forward, personal growth, personal development, one way or another. And you know, sometimes that takes place in a more physical, you know, technical form, where I'm literally doing things to move forward in my life. And sometimes that's a little bit more inside on like a spiritual level, where I'm like trying to get into a different state of mind, trying to look at the world different, try to understand the world differently, and just really pull back and let go. Just kind of zero in and center within myself into my inner like peace realm, and just kind of enjoy life for no reason, with the understanding that nothing is gonna make me happier than I can ever be now. There's only now. You can only be happy now. When the future comes, when that thing comes, it's gonna come in the form of now. Do you wanna be there as this person that still has these bad habits, that still, you know, filled with negativity, depression, anxiety, can't enjoy life? Because you're not gonna get that thing and then it relieves you of that. Right now, in this very moment, you can relieve yourself of all your worries, all your stress, and all your anxiety. Only if you choose to. Now that sounds complicated because it's like, okay, I choose to be free of anxiety. But then that's where the time, the work, the techniques, the practice of the struggles come in. I know what you're going through. I know what it's like. I've been there. You're suffering, I've been there. I know it, I understand it. And you know, you might say you have this specific condition. I don't have your specific condition. But I honestly believe if you pull back all conditions, you pull back all problems, there are a lot of root causes that seem to be universal. And even if there's not the direct cause, there are things you can do to still fix the problem. I believe if we were to just solve anxiety and depression and everybody, you know, one person at a time, if you can help manage your own anxiety and depression, how many of your problems would disappear? How many of your problems won't be caused? How many times do you think, oh, maybe I have this mental condition or mental illness, not to point fingers at anyone, or you think I'm just this way? But if you can stop thinking so much, you stop chasing all your thoughts, because your thoughts are telling you to do this, your body's telling you to do this, but through meditation, through calmness, through relaxation, you can take back control of your life, you can take back control of yourself, and you don't have to let it just take you where you want to go, where it wants to go, where it wants you to go. And it's my honest belief, I see it. I see too many people, they're in this like never-ending rat race game where it's like, oh, you got a thought, let's go follow the thought. Oh, it's telling me to do this, I'm gonna go do that. Oh, now I feel like I want to do this, now I'm gonna go do that. And it takes sometimes, there's two ways you could deal with that. When it's your body, your mind's telling you to do something. I know this seems kind of off, but I'm still gonna put it on anyway. There's two ways you can deal with that. One is you can let go of the thought, just let go of all thoughts, and the other one is to change what you want to do, change your willpower, change that action, change what you want to happen. You don't have to stay in your suffering, you don't have to stay in your pain, you don't have to stay in your misery. There are ways to outcome it, there are ways to overcome it. There are books, there are people out there giving information to help inspire, help change people's lives, and I'm trying to be one of them as much as I can be, trying to give this help every single day. What I wanted to get into in the second part is how much you should push your limits, how much you should push your boundaries, how much you should push yourself, how much you should try to get to that next level, because you can overwhelm yourself, you can overwork yourself, and once you hit that point, you might end up not doing anything at all. I've been there before, I'm there every day. I'm trying to really, because like as you see, like I'm trying to push myself every day, but there's balance to it, because you don't want to over push yourself where you hit the point where you do too stressed out, too overworked, to even more anxiety, even more depression, even more tiredness. But it's like you want to push yourself just a little bit. You want to find that sweet point, that balance point. You're gonna see in yourself that you have your normal day, your normal state of mind, your normal activities, your normal functions, and it's like you can push just a little bit every day. It's like, okay, today I'm gonna spend 20 minutes working on something else. Every single day is like I'm just gonna spend 20 minutes working on my dreams. That's how I do this. It's like, okay, right now I'm gonna come to this field. Next about 20 to 30 minutes, I'm gonna work on making this video. And then that's it, it's done. Because I'm not gonna just sit here for hours trying to think about it, worrying about it, write it out, plan it out. That's just too much time, too much work. I'm not gonna get anything done. I'm just gonna overwhelm myself. I might put out like a video every week, but that's not gonna help if I'm overthinking everything. Whereas I just come and I just do it. And then the other thing is then later on when I'm home, is like, okay, now for the next 20 to 30 minutes, I'm gonna work on getting the video ready for YouTube, ready for the world to view. I leave the computer processing, doing most of the work, and I kind of just sit back. And it's like I'm putting out daily videos, but I managed it to a point where I'm not pushing myself too far and I'm not overworking myself. And it's like sometimes I feel like I could do a little more. Sometimes I might go back, try to fix up an old video so that looks more appealing. Sometimes I don't do that. Sometimes I be like, okay, doing this one video is all the energy I have time for. And it's like I pay attention to my mind. When am I pushing myself too far? When am I gonna get really stressed out? Not just a little bit. Like, because I want to push my boundaries just a little bit. If you're not pushing at all, just a little bit, you're not gonna get anywhere. You're gonna stay where you are. So it's like you gotta push it kind of just a tiny bit, just a little, like a little nudge. 20 minutes today, 20 minutes tomorrow. You know, you might only work in your dreams 20 minutes at a time for a couple months, maybe even years. and then keep building up, and as you get comfortable with doing more, you do more. And like I said too, look for those days where you know you have the energy and the state of mind that you can push it more. But do make sure you are pushing it. Like the real point of this, like I'm trying to express that you can push yourself too far and too hard, but the real point I'm telling you this is to make sure you are pushing yourself. You're doing a little bit, just going a little bit beyond your edge. As David Deida would say in The Way of Superior Man, the man should be living at his edge or just slightly beyond it. Every single day, going to your limit, taking it as far as you can, doing everything you can, but not going over that. Because when you do more than you can do, it's so weird to say it, but you can get overworked, you can get overburned, you can get overrun. So I do want to steer you from like, okay, it's basically, if I were to break it down, it's like, okay, right now I'm gonna take the next 20-30 minutes, I'm gonna work on this. Later on, I'm gonna put another 20-30 minutes in. Then later on, I'm putting another 20-30 minutes in. And I'm not telling you, oh, this is my dream, this is my life. I gotta sit at the computer 8 hours today, then 8 hours tomorrow, then 8 hours tomorrow, then 8 hours tomorrow. You're not gonna have time for yourself, for your life, to maintain your own just well-being. You know, there's things that I honestly feel like I have to do every day, like trying to eat well, trying to exercise, taking care of my family, taking care of my mental and emotional health, making sure I get my anxiety managed for the day, every single day. It's not like I wake up because I've been working on it for so long, I don't have to do it anymore. It's like, no, let's what's the next level I can take this to? How far can I keep going with this? Because if I just slip out and I don't keep doing it, I'm gonna start falling backwards, and it gets worse and worse and worse. So it's like, basically, I'm trying to just leave you with the idea of, don't be someone who's afraid, who doesn't want to try, who doesn't want to do. Not to like tell you what to do, but if you want to be successful, if you want to get everything you want, it does take time, it does take work, it does take effort in the direction of your dreams, in the direction of your goals, or in any sort of direction at all. At least pick a direction and start going at it. Look for what you can learn from there, and that'll probably take you on to the next level of your life, where then you'll go do something else. Even if you're doing the wrong thing, try to make this a point that doesn't sound rambling, but even if you don't have the right direction to go into, then you'll go do something next thing in your life, and you'll learn something from that first thing, and that's going to help you do that better, and that's going to help you take somewhere else, and that's going to take you somewhere else, and then eventually you get in the true direction of your life's purpose, of your mission, of your goal, of whatever your life's dreams, of whatever you want to accomplish. But you're not going to get there if you don't push yourself a little bit. If you're afraid to get out of your comfort zone, if you just stay where you're comfortable in, where you're like, okay, in here, I know I won't get stressed out, I know I won't get anxiety. Like, it's almost like you have to embrace it just a little bit. Just a little bit of discomfort, a little bit of stress, just a little bit of anxiety is better than sitting around, you know, doing nothing with your time, doing nothing with your life, having the anxiety, having the stress anyway, but at least don't even have a reason. Because what's good about having a reason, having a cause, having the mission, a purpose, is that when you're having that stress and anxiety, now you have a direct action you can take to relieve it. Now you can be like, okay, now I'm gonna go work on my purpose. And then when you do it, then you can relax. But when you're just sitting at home, you're not even doing anything, you're just waiting for your dreams to manifest themselves and just happen for you, you're gonna be stressed out, you're going to be worried anyway, and there won't be anything you can do about it. Because what is the action you can take to go do the thing you're afraid of? That's what's giving you the stress and anxiety. So it's like, you might as well take the stress and anxiety of moving towards your dreams instead of the stress of anxiety of sitting at home wondering if you should take the chance. And what I'm also trying to really just wrap it up here with is just push a little bit, just a little bit, do a little something every day to work on your dreams, to work on yourself, to move forward. That's how you're going to get to where you want to be. Just a little something every single day. You don't have to do too much, do everything you can, but when you do, I don't want you to do too much so you don't get overwhelmed, and I don't want you to do too little that you'll never get anywhere. So what's your balance point? What can you be doing right now today so that you can accomplish whatever your goal is, whatever your dreams are, so you can become the person you want to be? What can you do? And I said this in another video, even as that simple as you got to go out and change the oil in your car, you got to go clean your room, go do that. Go do that. Go do the little tasks. Go do the little things. Go do the dumb things, because that's going to keep you from getting to the bigger task, the grander task. And maybe there's a reason for it too. It's good It could be good, you know, it could be exciting. It's like I'm looking for the balance point because I don't want you to take it too overboard, but it could be good for you to get into a mindset of doing. Just be comfortable and okay with, happy with the fact that you are doing things and that you're working, and that life, sometimes you're putting work in, but it doesn't mean the work has to be bad. You don't have to judge, you don't have to label, you don't have to have suffer for it. You just, I'm living my dreams now. Right now at this moment as I'm making this video. Is this really work? I don't know. Am I really gonna call it work? Get to drive to this place here? I don't want to look too far because I don't want my license plate to come on the camera. But oh, maybe it did right there. I don't even know. But you know, I get to come to a place like this. I get to stand in front of a camera. I get to shoot these videos. I get to inspire people. I get to motivate video. Does this really feel like work to me? Not really. The only time it becomes like a concern is late at night where I'm like, do I work on the video or do I spend time with my family? Where's the balance with that? That's where I gotta find my balance. Where do you gotta find your balance in life? What can you do? And where is it that you're going too far? And just be honest, be logical about it. Because like I just gave a rational way to look at it. Is like, at some point, I'm not spending enough time with my family, and it's like I got to take away a little bit of this so I could give them a little bit. At some point, maybe I got to take away a little bit to give to myself, but I got to understand that I'm also doing this for them. I'm doing this for myself, and I don't do this at all, then nobody's going to be happy in the end. That's the truth. Because then we're just going to stay living the same life. I'm going to stay with the same job, same apartment, same car. Not that there's anything wrong with the car, but I like to fix it up a little more. But everything will just stay the same if I don't at least push myself to move a little bit forward. And in with hopes that one day, say it hopes, but it's like I feel like my dreams are already coming true. That I'm going to be able to give them a better life and give myself a better life because I put this time and work in. And that's the purpose. That's the point. To be able to give a better life for yourself and those around you. So you're not really ignoring anyone. Even if you have to explain to them every day that you're doing it for them, whoever you live with, whoever your family is, just let them know that you're trying to take better care of them. This is for them. This is for you. This is for us. I hope I inspired you today. I hope you hit that like and subscribe button. I hope you have a lovely life. And I say life because I'm not here to change your day. I want to change your life. I want to inspire you to take action that's going to change the course of your whole life and give you a better life, give you a happy life, give you the opportunity to not have to suffer, to not have to struggle, and to be able to go do something you actually want to do in life. Have a lovely life, guys.